Welcome back to another class on Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei. In the previous class, we started speaking about the means to be able to get to Olam Haba. What does a person have to do in this world in order to be able to merit the next world? So we saw in the Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei, he brought a pasuk from the Torah in Sefer Vayikra in Perik Yutchet, pasuk Hey, where it states, "Ushmartem et chukotai ve'et mishpatai, asher ya'aseh otam ha'adam v'hai bahem." And one should guard my laws, meaning one should guard my mitzvot, and a person should do my mitzvot, and a person should live by my mitzvot. But came the Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei and he said, where is a person going to really live because of doing the mitzvot? Dahainu b'chai alma, which means to say in the next world, ba'olam haba. Kimo shetirgem Onkelos, like Onkelos explained it, like Onkelos translated it. Now, I don't know how many of you guys do Chumash with Rashi, which is very important to do. There's a lot of things that we don't know. Sefer Vayikra. I want to just share with you something. You know, a lot of times a person likes to listen to Parpereot. A person likes to listen to Chidushim, something new from here, something new from here. Rabotai, if you stick to the basics, first know the basics. What does Rashi say? Right? What does Rashi say on the Chumash? First know the basics. Sometimes you have a person, he's learning Gemara with Tosfot. How do you learn Gemara with Tosfot not knowing Rashi? Or sometimes you have people, they learn the Rishonim without first learning Rashi or understanding Rashi. One time Rabbi Wolkin told me, he saw a person learning Gemara, so I'll just show you. So let's say, right, so this is basically Masechet Berachot, but, so basically you have over here, the inside is Rashi. Very rarely will you see also Rashi on this side. If there's no Tosfot, Rashi will be on both sides. You have Rashi on the inside, Tosfot on the outside. So Rabbi Wolkin one time told me, he saw a person learning Gemara like this. So he started from Rashi over here, and he continued through the Gemara, through Tosfot. He was reading it like a book. Now, Rabotai, that's scary. That is scary. Because a person also has to know how to use the Gemara, how to maneuver inside the Gemara. You have the Gemara, you first try to understand what the Gemara says. You can't understand it, that's why you have Rashi. Once you learn, once you understand the Peshat, what Rashi is saying in the Gemara, then can you start learning Tosfot. Once you know what Tosfot says, then you could go to Ran, Maharshal. You can learn all the other Rishonim, Rabbeinu Yonah. But if you don't know Rashi, why are you listening to why are you learning other Pshat? Is it good? Yeah, you're learning. Yeah, you're getting reward. But you're not really understanding the full depth. Why am I saying all this? We listen to a lot of Shiurim on the Chumash, meaning on Parsha. But how many of us know simple understanding in the verse in the Chumash? Simple Pshat. Rashi. No, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm asking Rashi and the Chumash. How many of us learned it? How many of us have actually finished the book from Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim, from cover to cover with Rashi? Very little, Rabotai. I don't want to say almost nobody. People that actually learn Chumash, like with Rashi and other Meforshim, they learn. I know people that they learn Chumash and Rashi. Because without Rashi, Rabotai, you don't know the real Pshat in the Chumash. Anyway, why am I saying this? Because if you learn Chumash, if you look into this pasuk in Sefer Vayikra, in Perik Yutchet pasuk Hey, pay close attention what the Chumash says, what's written in the verse. Ushmartem et chukotai ve'et mishpotai, asher yaseh otam ha'adam v'hai bahem ani Hashem. I am Hashem, right? Okay, Rabotai, I'm not going to go translate it back and forth. I just want to show you something. You don't have over here the words Olam Haba. The Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei writes, Dahainu bechai alma. When it says that you're going to live because of those mitzvot, it means in that world, like Onkelos translated it. 1 second. If you look into the Chumash, it doesn't say anything about the next world. Not one word. I'll read it one more time. Ushmartem et chukotai ve'et mishpatai. You should guard my laws, meaning you should guard my mitzvot. Asher yaseh otam ha'adam, that a person should do them. V'chai b'hem ani Hashem, and he should live with them. I am Hashem your God. Where should you live with them? Comes the Chofetz Chaim and he wants to tell you that the uncles, the way he wants to learn this pasuk, the way he wants to translate this pasuk, means that you should live with mitzvot in the next world. Meaning, by doing mitzvot in this world, it allows you to have an entrance into the next world. You're able to build your next world. If you look into the Targum Onkelos, also in Perek Yud Chet, in Pasuk Hey, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to read it Aramaic, and then I'm going to, first I'm going to read the Onkelos, and then I'm going to translate it into English. V'titerun yat kayamai v'yat dinai, you should guard my laws, D'ya'avad yathon enasha, that people should do them, V'yeche, and you should live behon with them, Bechai alma, in that world, in Olam Haba, Ani Hashem, I am Hashem. So we see clearly, Onkelos adds two words. Bechai alma, he adds the words Be'olam Haba. A lot of times you have a person, where does it say that there's Olam Haba in the Torah? There's actually many places, even the Gemara brings it down. But Rabotai, you have clearly, here is open proof where it says Bechai alma. Onkelos translates it. Now what is the proof? What is the proof that Onkelos is correct? If you look into Rashi, and this is why I was trying to emphasize how important it is to learn Rashi. When you look into Dibra Matchil in Rashi where it says V'chai bahem, and you should live by them, Rashi says by doing them, where are you going to live? Le'olam haba, in Olam Haba. It doesn't say Olam Hazeh. The reward for mitzvot are not given in this world. It's given in the next world. So when you're doing mitzvot over here, you're benefiting yourself for the next world. How do we know it's Olam Haba? How do you know when it says, and you should live by them? How do you know it's going on Olam Haba? It says very simple. Rashi says, She'im tomar be'olam hazeh, if you're going to tell me that a person is going to live by them in this world, says that can't be the case. Why? Ve'alo sofo hu met. But isn't it true that in the end a person dies? So how can you live through these mitzvot if in the end you're going to die? You could only live through these mitzvot in the place where you're going to live forever, which is Olam Haba. So look at Rabotai, one Rashi. Rashi wants to translate, Rashi wants to give you an understanding when it says V'chai bahem, and you should live by them. Where are you going to live because of doing this mitzvot? Where are you going to be able to live in the next world? Rabotai, understand this critical point, crucial point. By doing mitzvot, you build your Olam Haba. You know, I never knew about Bitcoin. Well, it's too late now. But somebody one time told me, says, Rabbi, you know, I know about Bitcoin. I said, how did you know about Bitcoin? He said, whatever, there was a whole situation that he had to go through, and he was working for a very big person, and he told him to go deposit money in the bank because he needed to buy the stock. He said, well, stock, he heard of Bitcoin. Rabotai, when Bitcoin was at a very, very low price, he said, I heard about it, but I didn't understand anything about it. So I went about my day. Said, if I would have invested even $5,000, today I would have been a millionaire. But what was wrong with me, he said? I went about my day not doing my research, not looking into it. Why is this business person, because he worked for somebody very big, why is he buying Bitcoin if he already has money? Why didn't I go and do exactly what he did? Even if nothing's going to happen, but why take that chance? Why take the chance of maybe something great is going to happen? And in the end, what happened? Look how much Bitcoin is now. Why am I bringing this up? We look, Rabotai, at mitzvot like, chas v'shalom lo leinu, so what? Okay, you want me to do mitzvah, you want me to give tzedakah, okay, I give tzedakah. You want me to daven, okay, I'll daven. You want me to learn Torah, okay, I'll go and I'll learn Torah. Rabotai, you have to understand, in our eyes, these mitzvot, chas v'shalom lo leinu, are not very important in our eyes. I don't want to say that we devalue them, but that's what we do. We devalue our mitzvot. But you know what's going to be the shocking truth? After 120, you're going to see how much each mitzvah was worth, and when you didn't do it. And even when you did do it, how you did it. And because of that, how much olam haba you lost. You'll be no different than this guy that is eating himself alive today, that he didn't invest in Bitcoin in about 2010, 2011. Rabotai, 15 years later, 14 years later, look how much Bitcoin is worth. Every time I hear the same story. Rabbi had an opportunity to become a millionaire. Rabbi had an opportunity to become a millionaire. Rabotai, I stand here before you today. We have an opportunity to become trillionaires in mitzvot. Don't take the mitzvot lightly. Don't take mitzvot lightly. If there's a mitzvah that comes your way, you want to go and do it out of love. A person, you see this a lot of times. A person, you tell them, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? You want to eat shish kebab, you want to eat lava, shawarma, pizza, what do you want to eat? Says, I'll eat anything but bread. Why don't you want to eat bread? It's one thing if he's working on his diet. It's not that he doesn't want to eat bread. It's because he's working on his diet. But it's another thing he tells you, I don't want to eat bread. Why? Because I have to go ahead right now and I have to wash my hands. Then I have to say Brikata Mazon. This occupies my time. What do I need it for? Rabotai, washing the hands is a mitzvah. A precious mitzvah. Brikata Mazon is also a mitzvah. Washing the hands is from the rabbis. Brikata Mazon is from the Torah. Two precious jewels. What did you just do? You just threw it away. No, I'm not going to do it because it's going to occupy my time. You're right. At that moment, if I can try to go ahead and make it a little bit more real, let's just be a little bit realistic. I'm not saying that's how much each mitzvah is worth. It could be 1,000,000 times more. But I want to just try to give you an understanding. At that moment, it's as if you threw $500,000 in the garbage. I'm not going to wash. I'm not going to bench. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to daven mincha. I'm not going to do Aravit. Whatever it might be. I'm not going to learn Torah. No problem. Don't do it. But you should know you are throwing away trillions of mitzvot that could have built your olam haba. And the thing is, Rabotai, now you can't realize because you don't know the value of it. You don't understand what mitzvot are. So that's why everything else around you is important, but mitzvot. Especially the mitzvah of learning Torah. How many of us don't take learning Torah seriously? But I want to share with you today, Rabotai, in order to be able to value mitzvot, the Chofetz Chaim is going to tell us there are two things you have to have. If you remember, we started speaking about why does a person need money? For what a person needs money? Why do you go to work? So we answered it. A person is forced to work. Why is a person forced to work? Because he has to provide for the family. He has to put food on the table. He has to be able to clothe himself. He has to dress himself. He's not going to look like a bum, chas v'shalom. And also he has to have a place where he's going to live. Today the Chofetz Chaim is going to go and he's going to speak about food for the soul. In order to be able to make sure that your mitzvot are done the proper way, you need to learn Torah and you have to have Yirat Shamayim. I'm going to repeat it again. You need to learn Torah and you have to have Yirat Shamayim. If you learn Torah and you have no Yirat Shamayim, you have nothing. If you have Yirat Shamayim and you don't learn Torah, you don't have nothing. They go hand in hand. You have to learn Torah with Yirat Shamayim, only then can you understand what mitzvot really are. If a person, for example, learns halachot of Shimon Esrei, how to daven before Hashem. If you just learn through the halacha, let me see something. Let me just see if I can find it. Tzadik Chet halacha aleph. No, that's not Tzadik Tet halacha aleph. Let me see if I can find it. So I want to show you, Rabotai, how one can learn. No, Tzadik Chet halacha aleph. Yeah, Tzadik Chet halacha aleph. That's Simon 98, halacha 1. If you read the Shulchan Aruch, if you read just like a newspaper, if you learn Torah, okay, one has to have kavanah in his heart, he has to understand the words that he's saying, he has to think that as if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in front of him, he has to remove all things that are bothering him in his mind. If you learn the Shulchan Aruch like that, yeah, when you're going to come and you're going to down Shemna Esrei, how are you going to down Shemna Esrei? You go down like regular. Because you didn't make this halacha part of you. You didn't learn the Yiras Shamayim. You didn't make this you. You just read through it. Versus Rabotai, if a person comes and he says, "Hamitpalel tzarich sheyechavem belibo." A person who davens Shemona Esrei has to have kavanah, which means what? Pirush hamilot shemotzi b'sefatav. The meaning of the word that he takes out from his mouth. Stop right over there. Now go ahead and try to understand that concept. Do I do that? You have to ask yourself, am I doing that? When I'm davening Shemona Esrei, do I even know what I'm saying? Do I know who I'm standing before? Do I even have fear of God when I'm davening Shemona Esrei? Or it's just by rote? So it's not just by going through the halakha, but actually trying to go ahead and analyze the halakha. Where am I holding in this halakha? And then you move on. And you should consider as if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in front of you. And remove everything that is bothering you. Until your mind, until your machshava and your kavanah are clean in the tefillah. This, Rabotai, when you go ahead back and forth in trying to analyze, am I doing what the halakha requires me to do so? Then, Rabotai, you're building on your Yiras Shamayim. Now you're not only learning Torah just to learn Torah and put a check mark, but you're learning Torah to understand the Torah and to apply it to your life. That, Rabotai, is learning Torah with Yiras Shamayim. Just to learn Torah, anybody can learn Torah. You know, today, Baruch Hashem, people are trying to finish Dapim, Mishtayot. You know, they're trying to get as much as quantity in. But Rabotai, have we changed? What about the quality? What about the quality of learning? What about the quality of doing mitzvot? The quality of our davening, the quality of anything in Avodat Hashem, the quality and how our speech is. Are we different? Did we stop going to places where we're not supposed to be? Or we're still the same people, Rabotai? We learned the halakha, yeah, we know it's not allowed. Keep it, and we still go to places where we're not supposed to be. And we do things that we're not supposed to be doing. Rabotai, that is called learning Torah, but you have no Yiras Shamayim. How can you learn the Torah? You know today, Fasur Shalom, you know that there's a cop on the corner waiting to give you a ticket, and it says over there 25 speed limit, and you know the cop is there. You're not going more than 25 miles an hour because you don't want to get points and you don't want to get a ticket. You don't want to pay the fine. Them you're afraid of. But Hashem tells you something in the Shulchan Aruch. You're not allowed to sit mixed. You're not allowed to go to the beaches. You're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. You're not allowed to do all these things. You cannot use foul language. You can't look at other girls. Rabbi, don't worry about it, Rabbi. What am I, an angel to you? Rabotai, that means that person has no Yiras Shamayim. How many of us do Kriya Shema al Amita? How many of us recite the Shema before we go to sleep? One time I was giving a shiur. Excuse me. One time I was giving a shiur, and I spoke about Kriya Shema al Amita, and I said, just be honest with me, how many people over here, again, people are learned, it was like at least 40, 50 guys in the class. I think it was either Hoshana Rabbah or Shavuot. And I said, how many people over here do not do Kriya Shema al Amita? What? Almost 75% of the room raised their hand. So what do you mean? He's like, why should we do it? Do you know that? Yeah, but I know it. I have to do it. But it's hard. I come home, I'm tired, this and that. Well, I can understand you're tired. But Rabotai, you see, you can know something, and when you don't do it, it shows that you have lack of Yiras Shamayim. And this is what the Chofetz Chaim is going to speak about right now. The Chofetz Chaim is going to continue through everything that we've been saying up to now, and he says like this, you tell me the rain comes out from our words, from everything that we've been learning up to now. Shetoratena Kedusha, our holy Torah, hi bepashtut mazon ruchani lenefesh. It in its simplicity is the spiritual food for the soul. Rabotai, I want to repeat this again. Shetorotena kedusha hi bepashtut mazon ruchani lenefesh. Our holy Torah is the fuel for the soul. Do you know why today, unfortunately, you have a lot of people that are depressed? A lot of people, they don't feel fulfilled. They have this emptiness inside of them. So they're always looking for other things to go ahead and try to take that, to try to take that emptiness away. They're trying to substitute their feelings with something else. They're either watch something, they'll buy something, they'll eat something to make them feel good because the person is in depression. Rabotai, do you know why that is? One simple reason. Because your neshama is lacking that energy, your neshama is lacking that fuel, that excitement that it needs. You can't feed the neshama food. The neshama is not going to be satiated from food like we saw in the previous class. The neshama needs spiritual food, which is Torah, Rabotai, which is mitzvot. If you're not learning Torah, don't be surprised why you're feeling empty, why you're feeling dissatisfied, why you need all the other things in the world to substitute for the Torah so you can actually feel good. And the crazy part is, you only feel good for the moment. I ask a person, why do you go to the movie theaters? Whatever, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know, they go, popcorn, Coke. Why do you go to the movie theaters? Rabbi, you get your mind off of things. Why do you drink? They drink alcohol. People drink alcohol. Why do you drink alcohol? Takes your mind off of things. Why do you smoke? Takes your mind off of things. Why do you go to the beaches? Takes your mind off of things. Rabotai, if to go ahead and do these things in order to be able to feel good, do you not understand, no matter how much you're going to do all of these things, still deep down inside, you're never going to be happy? You can't be happy. Why can't you be happy? Because the neshama doesn't recognize these things. Yet the body at that moment, you're neutralizing the neshama, telling it, relax, I'm watching a good movie. Relax, I'm watching beautiful woman at the beach. Relax, I'm drinking, right? You're neutralizing the feeling. But after you finish watching the movie, or once you get up from the beach, or once you stop drinking and the alcohol wears out, you're back to your original state. All this is because, Rabotai, you do not have that spiritual fuel. You do not have Torah. And please don't tell me, Rabbi, I go to Shiurim, I learn Torah, and I still feel empty. That means you're not learning Torah. You're not, Rabotai. The Rav Chaim Igal says if a person would learn Torah, if he would know what it means to learn Torah, he would go crazy after. He wouldn't be able to be a moment without learning Torah. So therefore, when you go to a shiur, yeah, it's nice to listen to a shiur. That's a certain level of learning Torah, but that's not the level of learning Torah that we want you to learn. A person does weight lift. You have a person, he lifts, let's say for example, 100 pounds. 5 sets, 15 repetitions, back and forth. 100 pounds, he's going to feel his muscle build. But you have another person, he comes to the gym and he takes 1 pound. And what is he going to feel? How is he ever going to be able to build his muscle? He can't, he won't, Rabotai. You cannot give the soul something it does not recognize. You have to give the soul what it's able to recognize. You want the soul to be satisfied. You want to be satisfied. You want to be happy with yourself. Try this for 1 week. Honestly, just try this for 1 week. Not even 1 week, even 2-3 days. You could try it. You can automatically see it. Try to make yourself a schedule. I don't know, let's say you daven at 8 o'clock. Whatever, I'm not going to go nets. Nets right now is early. It might be too early for people. Right now, nets is probably 5:25, 5:26. Let's say you wake up at 8 o'clock. Make yourself a schedule. Davening is 8 o'clock. I'm not going to come to shul 8:15, 8:30. Or I'm not going to come to shul when they're already doing hodu. I'll come 15 minutes prior to get prepared, to be able to say karbanot. I'll daven from the beginning till the end. Make yourself that schedule. When I say berachot, I'm going to have kavanah. When I say Baruch Atah Hashem, I'm going to think in my mind, Adon HaKol Haya Hoveh here. The master of all was, is, and always will be. When I say Elokeinu Shu Takiv Bala Yuchel Bala Kachot Kulam, that Hashem has all the powers in the world. When you're blessing, try to have kavanah. When you're davening, try to have kavanah at least for the first bracha. Rabotai, you will see a major change in your attitude. The way you treat your wife, the way you treat with people, the way you'll be much more relaxed. You're not going to be everywhere. You're not going to be looking. And then if somebody's going to tell you, okay, listen, you want to go to the movies? You want to go do this? Why? I don't need to go to the movies. I don't need to drink. I don't need to smoke. I don't need to do things that are against halacha. Because all these things destroy a person's health, Rabotai. It's not only spiritual problems, it's not healthy to drink and to do drugs, chas v'shalom. But I'm trying to bring out over here, Rabotai, if you want to be able to have satisfaction in your life, you have to incorporate the Holy Torah to really, really learn Torah the way it's supposed to be learned. Not just to put a check mark, yeah, I did the Daf Yomi, which is nice. I did the Mishlei Yomi, which is nice. I did Chofetz Chaim on Lashon Hara, which all of these things are nice. I'm asking you a question. When you walk away from that learning, did you ask yourself what thing or what things can I incorporate into my life? What about nivel peh? What about cursing? Try to see the way you speak to other people. Try to work on that midot, character traits, Rabotai. Do I upset my wife? Maybe I speak down on my children. Maybe I speak down on my workers. Maybe I'm not friendly with one of my neighbors. Rabotai, you will see a major change. Once you start really working on yourself, once you start learning the Holy Torah and you start applying it to your life, you start becoming a different human being. But the problem is, we have that Torah, we'll learn that Torah, but we don't have that Yiras Shamayim. And that's what the Chofetz Chaim is going to try to explain this towards the end of the paragraph. So one more time. Shetoratina Kedusha, our Holy Torah, Hi bepashtut mazon ruchani lenefesh. It, in its simplicity, it is the spiritual food for the soul. Fuel for the soul. I never saw a person put water into a car. No, you put gas. Somebody one time told me something very interesting. His wife, she went to a gas station, and now you know there's diesel and there's regular pumps, right? You have regular, super, and whatever, super plus. So she didn't pay attention. I guess it was her first time filling it up. She looked at the diesel. She saw this one pump by itself, and she had 3 pumps over here. She thought they're all identical, so she took diesel and she started filling up her car. So her car was on empty before, so now she filled it up. She sees that the car didn't even start moving. The car was giving her problems. So they called a mechanic. I have a cousin who's a mechanic. They called the mechanic. So the mechanic said, why? It's a brand new car. I think it was a Toyota Highlander. It was a brand new car. He just got it at a brand new lease. Said it doesn't make sense. So they couldn't figure out the problem. So the husband tells the wife over the phone, tell me, did you do anything to the car? She's like, no, I just went and I filled up gas. She's like, okay, fine. Which gas did you put in? She said, I put regular gas like everybody else. I saw everybody else pumping, so I put also regular gas. So he's like, what gas did you put inside the car? I need to know the name of the gas. So she went, she was like, okay. It says over here, diesel. That's what I put. What'd you put? You put diesel? Rabotai, they had to pump out all the gasoline, the diesel gasoline from it, and only then put regular gasoline in order for the car to start working. She almost killed the whole car. But that's, Rabotai, what we do with our neshama. We go ahead and we put all the garbage outside into the neshama thinking that we're going to be happy with it. You're not. You have to put the real fuel, which is the fuel of Torah. If you don't put fuel of Torah into your neshama, Rabotai, do whatever you want. You can daven, you can have 5 Rabbeinu Tams, 3. You could do everything. You could look like an angel. Doesn't mean nothing, Rabotai. You must have Torah as your number one ingredient in your life. If you don't have a set time, you must make a set time. Now, I'm not speaking about making shu'urim, just listening to the parsha. No, I'm speaking about real learning Torah. Rabotai, if you can't find a Talmid Chacham, hire one for money. Get, Rabotai, somebody to teach you real Torah. Do not allow your life to continue this way without learning Torah. Instead of spending $50 on garbage or on alcohol or drugs and movie theaters, whatever you're going to spend it on, spend it on the Talmid Chacham. This Talmid Chacham is going to teach you Torah. From that Torah, Rabotai, you're able to acquire Olam Haba. So you're getting your money's worth. Everything else in this world, you don't get your money's worth.